This is Mac OS Ken.
3 things we don't get about Apple Vision Pro. And another one. It is Friday, the 7th of August, 2026. I'm Ken Ray, and this is a special edition of Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by OneSkin, a new standard for your skin. Try it now with 15% off using code MacOSKen at oneskin.co/MacOSKen. I had a sort of surprising aha moment last month at MacStock. While there was no official Vision Pro track, there were a couple around. I'll share my aha moment with Vision Profiles host Marty Jencius in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Helix Sleep, making premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your personal needs. My sleep is so much better since I got my Helix Midnight Luxe mattress with optional Glaciotex cooling cover. Seriously, the hip pain with which I used to wake has gone away, while the cooling cover has kept me comfy, even as summer temperatures shot up. I'm not the only one who loves it, though. Wired, Good Housekeeping, Wirecutter. Those are just a few of the sources that have made Helix the most awarded mattress brand. But they're not just mattresses. Beautiful bed frames, perfect pillows. When it comes to sleep, Helix Sleep has you covered. Find out for yourself with no risk. The Happy with Helix guarantee gives you a 120-night sleep trial with seamless returns and exchanges should either be necessary. You also get free shipping with your Helix mattress delivered right to your door. Go to helixsleep.com/MacOSKen for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/MacOSKen for 20% off site-wide. HELIX. Get savings of 20% off site-wide at helixsleep.com/MacOSKen. Though I don't own one myself, I have a serious fascination with Apple Vision Pro. So when I saw Marty Jencius sitting with one at MacStock last month, I kind of made a beeline for it. He was kind enough to let me try it out, answer a few questions, and now he's kind enough to join us today. So for people who don't know, tell them who Marty Jencius is and what he does.
Well, what I am is a faculty member at Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. I've been here for 26 years, and my focus is in counseling, but my writing is around counseling and technology. So I've been dabbling with tech, probably for close to 50 years now or so. Yeah.
Forgive me, counseling and technology, or like the use of technology in counseling?
Well, now it's both. But what I used to really focus on when I started writing, it was about here's some technology and this is how you could apply it to teaching of counseling or the practice of counseling. And now it's kind of moved into a whole world of telemental health and ways to do that effectively. And so that's kind of my area of writing and expertise.
Okay. Coming up in the second half of the show, Marty and I are going to get down to what my problems really are with my mother. But first, we got some tech stuff to talk about. That's not happening in the second half of the show, by the way. We can do it off mic if you want to. But the reason we actually have Marty on today is because he is also one of the hosts of Vision Profile, which is a podcast focused on Apple Vision Pro, I think. And I mean, is it just on the hardware Vision Pro, or is it about spatial computing? Do you go to other... Well, instead of me just asking you 9 questions that could lead us in the wrong direction, tell people about Vision Profile.
Vision Profile started about a week after Vision Pro came out on the market, because I decided I wanted to do a show on it as a new technology. I had Eric Bolden join me. He was someone who had picked up a Vision Pro, and we started to do the podcast. And we're been doing it about weekly, so we're on our 115th episode or so of it. David Ginsburg from In Touch with iOS joined us, and we also had a person who was doing AI development and programming and also was interested in gaming with the Vision Pro, a guy by the name of Daniel Burkholder, who joins us every other week or so. So it's turned into a nice team of people, and we cover the news that's come out during the week. And so I do searches for that. We cover apps that are new apps that we've heard about or that we demonstrate. And I drift into the Galaxy Samsung world because I have one of those too. I also have a Meta. So we do talk about other platforms and other glasses as they're arriving. So, but primarily it's what's going on with Vision Pro.
And you think of yourself as I wouldn't go so far as to say evangelist, but I mean, do you think of yourself as a proponent of VR, AR, spatial computing, that kind of thing? Or is it just, it's kind of interesting. If it's for you, great. If it's not, that's fine too.
I think I would probably put me closer to the evangelist side because I think there are so many options and opportunities with it that have yet to be seen. For example, when it first came out, what we were going to do with it? Well, we were going to watch movies. But then Enterprise picked up on it and started doing all this great things in terms of development and training and virtual reality kinds of and spatial reality kinds of technologies that they applied to it. And they started creating their own apps for demonstration and training. And so it's turned into a much bigger platform. And that's what I like about it. Somebody's always tapping into something new and how it can be used.
The thing that I think is not having one and having spent maybe a total of 25 minutes wearing one, the thing that I think is amazing about Apple Vision Pro is it could do the same thing that Apple Watch did, which was, I think Apple had some ideas of what Apple Watch was going to be, but they put it out on the market, and it turns out it didn't end up being the thing they wanted it to be, but developers and users and, of course, continuing to work with the hardware inside Apple, it became, I wouldn't go so far as to say indispensable, but it became something wildly different, I think, than Apple anticipated initially. I feel like Vision Pro could be the same thing if it didn't cost as much as a decent used car.
Well, it runs better than a decent used car.
Well,
at
okay.
that cost, so.
But I mean, they threw the watch down on the table and people picked it up and did stuff with it, right? I mean, you could argue they did the same thing with the iPhone. The difference for both of those things being that they were affordable. Like, you could afford to buy an iPad, an Apple Watch, an iPhone, and obviously not everybody could. But enough people could afford to buy one without really having a clear idea of what it was going to be in their life, that then they could use it, they could play with it, and then eventually it could become the thing that it was going to be. And I'm not sure, well, no, I am sure Apple Vision Pro is not priced for that kind of casual, well, let's see what this thing does.
It's not meant to be a consumer device as it is now. And I think there's some myths and some mistaken ideas about that, and maybe we'll get into that. But it was never meant to be. But it's a Lamborghini. It's got everything in there that you want to be able to test how fast it can go. Yeah. And Apple's learning a lot from that process in applying it to other more consumer-friendly devices. When you mentioned the watch was never, I think, intended originally to be a health device, and now it's turned into such a health device. I don't think Vision Pro had any clear direction, and I like your comparison there. But it found its direction in one way in enterprise and in another way for consumers and an environment, a computing environment that we've never seen before, which is the exciting part about it.
Yeah. Well, you and I should do another conversation sometime where we talk about what I think Apple should do with Vision Pro. And then you take that information to Apple and we'll see who they laugh harder at. So the reason I actually wanted to have you on today was because while we were at MacStock, I don't remember whose Vision Pro it was, but there were one or two there, and you and I were sitting around at, I believe, Barry Folk's wine tasting. And you guys had the Apple Vision.
I won't admit to that. I was at a wine tasting, but we were sitting around. I brought my Vision Pro down because Allison Sheridan wanted to look at her app through the Vision Pro.
Right, which I think was my entry into that conversation, because the only time I had worn a Vision Pro before that was for the very first demo that Apple was doing back in February of, I think, 2025. I know they've updated it since then. I have not been back since then. But the reason I wanted to have you here today is because I had an aha moment around Vision Pro. And I'm almost embarrassed to say what the aha moment is, because since Apple Vision Pro was rumored and then announced, and they put those goofy eyes on the front of it, I thought, well, shave $1,000 off right there. Take that screen off, right? Because we don't really need it. They kind of creep people out. And you could just put an indicator light on, letting you know, okay, now they're in pass-through mode. Okay, now they're, off in their own la-la land and can't see what you're doing. But we were having a conversation about something, and I think it was David was wearing it. David Ginsburg was wearing it, and he said something, and I glanced over at him, and he was wearing an Apple Vision Pro, but there was absolutely no question he was looking at me. And it was weird because I was looking at these eyes that were on a screen, but we were making eye contact, or as close as you can, while wearing a computer on your face. And that was like, I have the whole time, and anybody who listens to Mac OS Ken and anything else I've been on talking about Apple Vision Pro, everybody knows that the thing that I want them to do is get rid of that stupid screen because it's stupid. But then when I'm outside of the controlled Apple demo and just in the world talking to somebody wearing one, it's no longer as stupid as it seemed. Could it be lower res? Yes. I mean, are there ways that they could still cut the cost and maybe, approach something like affordability for the average John or Jane? Maybe, but that was my aha moment. That was a thing that I have vehemently not gotten about Apple Vision Pro until getting to spend time with it. Where you got one, where you've got a whole show about it, I figure there's other stuff like that. So I asked you to tell me/us 3 things we don't get about Apple Vision Pro. Tell me what the first one is.
The first one is, I think the largest confusion, and this comes because I think the way the media has handled every announcement that's come out, is that people treat the Vision Pro, at one point the Vision Air, and the glasses as one continuous roadmap. So when that news happens, that is announced about the Vision Pro, like they're cutting back on the advertising on it, people see the whole thing as failing. And really, I see it as right now 2 timelines. There is the Vision Pro, and then there are the glasses. Because anything in between those two, I think, would be difficult to create and purposeless. So we can get into a little bit more, if you want to, about what I think the glasses will emerge as, but it's not going to be the immersive spatial environment that Vision Pro currently has that allows for things like virtual Mac, so you can put your screens up and things like that. It's not going to be that complicated. It's not going to be that immersed as glasses won't be as immersed as the Vision Pro will be. So I think the mistake people make is they try to keep those on the same timeline. Some of that confusion happened when Ming-Chi Kuo said that CEO Turnus killed both Vision Pro 2 and the lighter Vision Air, leaving only the smart glasses as a priority. Gurman comes back and says, no, it's just on ice. And then the tech media picks whatever side they want to fight about. So for me, there isn't one Vision timeline. There are two competing bets inside Apple. And even best sourced reporters don't agree on which one's going to win. I think the consumer, when you said let's lower the price, let's make it make it more of a consumer friendly device, that's what the glasses are. But you couldn't have gotten to the glasses without all of what they've learned regarding the technology that's in the Vision Pro. So
I don't disagree with that, but I don't feel like, I mean, you just said a minute ago, it's not going to give you anything like the performance that the Apple Vision Pro is, the pair of glasses aren't. And so I don't think you can say, well, the consumer side, the consumer gets the glasses and the professionals get the Apple Vision Pro, because that's like saying, you know, well, the professional gets food and the consumer gets dog food. I mean, and that's not, that sounds horrible. That sounds like a horrible way to degrade the glasses. I feel certain the glasses are going to have some use, but they're not, it's not what I want, Marty. That's really what it comes down to. I've looked forward to some kind of VR something since the first time I heard about it in the very, very, very early 1990s. The problem is now the only real choice I have is either $3,600 for Apple's thing that doesn't do half of what I want it to do from my cyberpunk dreams, or giving all of my information to Meta. I mean, it's kind of like I'm either priced out or I have to be willing to trade every bit of information. But that's stuff that we can argue about another time. What's the second thing I don't get about Apple Vision Pro?
The second thing is people see it primarily as an entertainment device. And I think it's more than that. The impression largely comes from Apple's marketing, because what they market and what they lean into hard, even in their demos, is the sports and immersive video that demos well. Mm-hmm. The workflow stuff, I've got Eric Bolden, who uses it as a productivity device as part of Vision Profiles, and he really uses it as a portable, huge monitor for work, and then he uses a MacBook Neo and works off of that in terms of the job that he has and where he has to go. So the real world case for spatial computing is work with floating windows, reference material multitasking, and a physical space that really takes on the idea of spatial computing. It is a great entertainment device. There's nothing that matches it, but it's not just an entertainment device. And I think folks who get tired of it want to sell it back or go, don't kind of move on to the larger uses of this as a computing device. Apple unfortunately markets it like a theater that you wear. People who actually keep using it treat theirs as a second monitor that they can use and go anywhere with.
More with Marty in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, OneSkin, a new standard for your skin. When it comes to OneSkin, I spend a lot of time talking about OS One Face. That's because it has made me feel better about my face, eliminating dry, flaky patches that have bothered me literally for years. But that's not all they do. Their OS One Body Moisturizer improves skin texture, appearance, and hydration. Also made my skin feel softer to the touch. OS One Hair Scalp Serum addresses visible hair changes associated with age and stress. And just like OS One Face, it is all dermatologist tested, fragrance-free, and suitable for sensitive skin. If healthier skin is a concern for you, I would encourage you to give OneSkin a try. Start at oneskin.co/macOSken. With over a decade of research behind it, OneSkin's OS One peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code MacOSKen at oneskin.co/MacOSKen. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MacOSKen. When they ask where you heard about them, please support this show by letting them know it was MacOSKen. Try OneSkin now with 15% off using code MacOSKen at oneskin.co/MacOSKen. Marty Jencius is with us. He is one of the hosts of Vision Profiles. I think I said earlier Vision Profile, and I was shorting you a few profiles there. I apologize for that. Vision Profiles would be the thing. Here's the thing, though. That's not the only podcast with which he is involved. In fact, he's got so many pods, he's got a net for them. Jeff Gamet and I actually struggled through trying to remember all kinds of stuff about you on yesterday's show, and I apologize for that. Tell people about thepodtalk.net.
Yeah, the website is thepodtalk.net. And ironically, I decided to have a website to host where I could send people to catch my one podcast. And little did I know that it would turn into a branding for all the other ones that are there. I think the anchor one is really Vision Profiles. There are other podcasts on there like the Neo Notebook, which is the MacBook Neo. We do that weekly and talk about what's new with that. Other ones were born out of provocative. If you provoke me, it'll generate a new podcast. And so there are ones on there like Fade to Chat, which is movies of the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I was provoked into doing that by somebody at Ecamm in one of their presentations. And joining me on that is Cindy Rotz, and we do that together. And then somebody said, hey, you don't do any scripted podcasts. And I'm like, yeah, I'm challenged by that. And they said, you ought to take your knowledge as a mental health expert and apply it to the movies. And so I just started an episode or 2 episodes ago called One Scene, and it takes one scene out of the movies that we cover in Fade to Chat podcast. I've got 15-minute bites because I found out techies are foodies and they have tech stories, but they also have their favorite recipe. And so that one covers is a shorter version one. And old Mac gang, I was not polite to older Mac users who struggle with new equipment and stuff like that. And out of guilt started that podcast. It's all contains guys who are over the age of 65. So these are often really long-time Apple users, and they're kind of fun to talk with. There's 9 or so shows there on that network at this point, and I try to crank them out every week, at least every other week. So that's the podtalk.net, and you can connect with either the audio or the video parts of those shows through that website.
I have to ask a question. The person who said you don't do any scripted podcasts, does their name rhyme with Schmalison Schmeridan?
No.
Really?
No,
That's surprising.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to ask you to out whoever it was. That's fine. I just, she and I are the only 2 people that I know. Like, I don't script like conversations like we're having right now. I can't because otherwise I'd be writing your part. But I mean, she and I are the only 2 people that I know personally who do a lot of scripted podcasts. And, you know, where you 2 were in a room together just like a month ago, I thought I had stumbled onto something. No Columbo am I.
No, there are some other podcasters in our group that do scripted podcasts. They feel much more comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
I worked in commercial radio for years before I went on and became a professor in counseling. And so I'm used to reading copy. Right now, I'm really struggling with teleprompters, trying to read copy and do a scripted show like One Scene.
Okay.
which is why I keep it to 8 minutes.
So you and I have to have a few conversations because we need to talk about how Apple is going to fix Apple Vision Pro marketing as far as we're concerned. And then video, because I know Doc, I also know Doc's not listening because I'm not on video. I know.
Yeah.
We'll see. In the meantime, though, we got some other stuff that we're talking about. There are things that I don't get about Apple Vision Pro, and you're about to tell me a third one.
One of the myths that we hear from people, particularly from people who don't have one, is there is nothing new since the launch. Since the M2 version came out, year and a half, 2 years ago, there is really nothing new. Well, true, they did have an M5 refresh in 2025, in October 2025, but they're like, there's really nothing new with the device. They got a more comfortable head strap, and some people argue it's not that much more comfortable. But where the growth in Vision Pro has been in the software, it's been remarkable in terms of what it's done. And Apple's, they don't have like betas. They have developer betas.
Mm-hmm.
They have the software they run in developer betas, and everybody I know is running the developer beta because every couple of weeks, they're getting improvements in their function with the beta releases and the beta numbered releases that are happening. But if you look at the original Vision Pro 1.0, and then it switched to 26, and now we're into 27, it went from a very simple interface that was very klutzy, and now it's using hand gestures. It's used to activate things. It's done a lot with the optics in the software to be able to do more foveated vision. So it's not wasting its computing time at what you're not looking at, but it's using the computing to focus on just what you're looking at. The Mac Virtual Display, where I can open up my Mac and then open the window up as big as I want to do it and have as many as that I want to have, and many windows that and apps that I want open. That opened up a whole productivity line when that happened in Vision 26. So the software movement has been phenomenal with it. The hardware refresh is kind of boring on purpose. They're still working out what might, and they're taking a long timeline to figure out what to do with that really cheap, inexpensive Vision Pro 2 that you want, and that you're going to have to get the price down. But they've really made a lot of work going with the software layer. And that doesn't make the news. People don't hear a lot about that. We talk about it on Vision Profiles. Each time a new beta release comes out, we study it pretty well and get what we can in terms of what's changed with the release as a reason of it. The other thing to look for is patents. I know patents have their plus and their minuses, but if you follow ones that are related to optics, you can see where Apple is possibly going with Vision Pro 2, or more importantly, with glasses. So yeah, people ignore the fact that there is stuff going on with hardware, maybe in the background, but the software stuff has just been remarkable.
So if people want to keep up with, I guess, the latest news on Apple Vision Pro, and the thoughts of some people who are, head deep in it, I guess would be the best way to say it, since you put the thing on your head. Vision Profiles is the podcast to check out. Vision Profiles, and you can find that at thepodtalk.net, or of course wherever else you get podcasts. If people wanted to follow you other ways, I mean, is it thepodtalk.net, or are there other socials you want to send them to? If they're looking for Marty Jencius online, where do they look?
You can send email to the podtalknetwork@gmail.com, or find me at Jencius, Jencius, and you can find me on Blue Sky or on Mastodon. And we would love to have people tune in to anything on the podtalk.net. And we even have people who don't have Vision Pro headsets that listen to or follow along on the live YouTube. We do it Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, where we do the live video stream of the show that we're recording for that week. And that the new shows come out generally Tuesday morning with Vision Profiles. So I stay up late and crank that sucker out because it's news and you want to get it out in a timely fashion. You know that.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Marty Jencius, thank you very much for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me, Ken. This has been great for me.
As you may have guessed, I am traveling this week through the first part of next week. No shows Monday and Tuesday, but we'll start playing catch-up midweek next week. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Helix Sleep. Get 20% off site-wide at helixsleep.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by OneSkin, a new standard for your skin. Try it now with 15% off using code macOSKen at oneskin.co/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOSKen at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macosken.com. Until next time, that will do this special edition of macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.